This is the Jeanine Pirro Show. Now, here's Judge Jeanine Pirro.
Welcome back to the Judge Jeanine Tunnel to Towers Foundation Show. Joining us is former Congressman Anthony D'Esposito, who was also a Gold Shield at the New York City Police Department, a detective, and as a Hempstead councilman, and also as a congressman. He dealt a lot with issues regarding Homeland Security. This is a man who's been on joint task forces and knows full well the connection between the federal government, state government, local government, and how we can work together to make sure that America shines the way she should. So I want to welcome former Congressman Anthony D'Esposito. How are you this Sunday morning, Congressman?
Good morning, Judge. Happy Sunday. We are, I guess, less than a little over 24 hours to President Trump being inaugurated.
Yeah, I know. I have to tell you, it is a great day. It's a cold day here in Washington, D.C. But I have to tell you, I am so excited on the verge of this new golden era in America. And as we go forward and about to witness the inauguration of the 47th President of the United States, I have very high hopes. I feel optimistic. The economy, security, safety, all of the incoming president's nominees have been killing it in the hearings. And in particular, I think that Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi, everyone has been incredibly competent and so different from the individuals that Joe Biden had, who didn't think they were accountable, wouldn't answer questions. How do you feel about the new nominees?
So I've been in D.C. since last week, and there is just so much excitement on Capitol Hill. And I think a lot of it began early last week with the beginning of the Senate hearings for the nominees, and starting with Pete Hegseth to Pam Bondi to Marco Rubio to Lee Zeldin and everybody in between. I mean, they all excelled. I mean, they were given some tough questions. Obviously, the Democrats, their only purpose was to try to present these gotcha moments. Not one of the Democrats that were asking questions were they concerned about the future of the United States of America? Were they concerned about making this country safer? Were they concerned about growing the economy? All they wanted to do was talk about the past. They wanted to talk about President Trump. They wanted to pit the nominees against each other to try to create infighting, and they all kept their cool. They all stayed on message. None of them lost their temper, even when they probably should have. And they directly answered the questions that the American people wanted to hear. And I think, Pam Bondi did a phenomenal job. At one point, Senator Blumenthal was telling her, you need to say this, you need to say that. This is what you should be thinking. And she looked him directly in the eyes, and obviously the eyes of the American people, and said, actually, I don't need to say any of that. What we need to be talking about is the fact that the Biden administration has weaponized the justice system, and what I am going to do to keep Americans safe and to move this country forward. And I think the excitement that we're feeling on Capitol Hill, and obviously tonight's big rally with President Trump coming into town, I think a lot of that has to do with the promises that Trump made, making America safe again, making America great again, growing our economy. I mean, over the last week when we heard from our nominees, they have told once again the American people and refortified that belief that what President Trump said he was going to do, he is going to do, because he has capable, smart, hardworking patriots ready to join his administration.
Well, they are smart and they are hardworking. And I have to tell you, Anthony D'Esposito, the comparison between Pam Bondi, who didn't read a note, who's gotten experience as a prosecutor, as an attorney general, and, the comparison to her and Kamala Harris, who couldn't get a word out that made any sense, or a sentence out that made any sense to the American people, is stunning. The bar now is where it should be as it relates to women in government and women in politics. Pam Bondi has set the standard, the gold standard for women. I don't say this because because she's my friend, and she is my friend. I love her. I think she's brilliant. I respect her. But I say it for the young girls in this country. Anthony, I say it for the young girls who want to look up to someone and say, that's who I want to be. You know, Mom, that's what I want to be. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be an attorney general. You know, and I am so proud at this moment of people like Pam Bondi. And I'm so proud of Pete Hegseth, again, a friend of mine. You know, they tried to destroy him. And I think the best line was when, I think it was the senator from Oklahoma says, how many of you have shown up drunk for a late night vote? I mean, come on. And I know Pete Hegseth. I know him as an honorable, decent guy, and I've been working with him for 10 years. So the hate that the left has, put it away. Now you can watch competence shine. And,
right. Well, they can't do it, though. They can't put the hatred away. And that's the sad part, is that Republicans are going to unite. And, what I think is critically important, and the thing that matters the most, and the thing that's driving the Democrats the most crazy, is that, President Trump was elected because he garnered the support, not just from conservative Republicans, but from independents and Democrats who are so sick of their party continuing to move to the left and put this country in a really bad place.
You are so right. And you know what? The verdict is out. The American people, realize that Joe Biden was a disaster as a president. And the fact that this clueless guy is saying, I could have beat Trump, Kamala could have beat Trump. Are you delusional? Are you delirious? Are you with us? The truth is Kamala lost to him.
His entire administration is delusional. I mean, just, at the end of the week, we heard from Secretary Mayorkas, who literally is trying to continue to gaslight the American people. This is a guy who was impeached and then let off the hook by the Senate, telling the American people that the border is in better shape than it was when Joe Biden took office. Almost 15 million people have come into this country illegally. They've infiltrated gangs. They've smuggled narcotics. They've killed American children. They have made this country completely less safe, and he is trying to continue to tell us, even in his last days of power, that the country is safer under his watch. I mean, there is nothing more absurd than that. 15 million people on the terror watch list who want to cause harm to the American people. I mean, his sole job when he took his oath was to protect the homeland, from the moment he wakes up in the morning to the moment he lays his head on his pillow, to do everything in his power to protect the United States of America. That's right. He failed at every turn.
He failed at every turn, and he showed no empathy for the American people. The whole administration, whether it's Mayorkas, Kamala, Biden, how many young women died at the hands of illegals? And, I don't even want to engage in who's a criminal, who isn't a criminal. This would not have happened if they were not allowed into the country. It's that simple. But for the Biden administration's open door policy, these women would not have been brutalized, raped, murdered, children molested, people going to funerals. And you know what? Anthony, you know this. I mean, you were a detective. You get it. I mean, the after effects of a homicide. It isn't over when the person is dead. The family lives with the pain. The community lives with the pain.
It's never over.
Nonstop. It never ends.
It never ends, and that's why good investigators, many of which I worked with in the NYPD, when you have a victim and you walk them through the case step by step, from the moment it happens to arrest, to prosecution, and even after. I mean, these are victims' families are people that you keep in your life for your entire life. And I think something else that is sad is that, we're now looking at the point moving forward. President Trump is going to be the 47th president of the United States. And instead of focusing on so much good that he can bring, he now has to clean up the mess of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, starting with deporting so many individuals who came here illegally, starting with the criminals and those who are creating more victims for the justice system.
Well, there's no question. They really have a job to do. But, at the same time, you and I and all of America have been watching President Trump, incoming President Trump, focused on the first day. I mean, we've never had hearings this early. We've never had nominees nominated as early as the president has done it, President Trump. And in the end, they're going to hit the ground running on Monday. I mean, how many executive orders do they have ready to go? You know, Stephen Miller is brilliant. He's surrounded himself with brilliant people. And this is an America that's going to make a sharp turn. But I want to ask you, speaking of an America with a new leader and a sharp turn, we found out on Friday that the hostage deal was approved by the Israeli parliament. What are your thoughts on that?
So, I believe that Hamas is a genocidal death cult. And my concerns are that I don't believe that Hamas follows through with their agreement. I mean, we all need to remember that there was a ceasefire until October 7th when Hamas violated that. But I think really what's most important right now is the fact that the American people and across this world see the strength that President Trump has. And like you said a couple of minutes ago, I don't think that we've seen, at least in my lifetime, and I probably think that you'd agree, we haven't seen a president from election day to before inauguration show so much strength and leadership and go and fly into different countries and be recognized as basically the leader of the free world. And President Trump has done that. And he made it very clear from day one after the election, if this hostage situation is still continuing and they are still holding hostages, especially Americans, when he gets sworn into office, all hell will break loose. And, if President Biden tried to deliver that message, I think it would fall on pretty deaf ears because nobody looks at President Biden as someone who's strong, who's a capable leader, or who is willing to hold people accountable. But when President Trump says it, they realize that there will be hell to pay. And the fact that that he is not going to allow a terrorist group to control the narrative. He is not going to allow a terrorist organization to continue to try to manipulate the people of Israel and, quite frankly, the United States of America. So that is really what's most important, is the fact that he is going to lead as President Reagan did in that peace through strength adage. And I think that the days of America shining bright are truly ahead, because President Trump is going to show leadership that this country so rightly needs. And that is why, like I said a few minutes ago, there's a reason why President Trump garnered the support of not just conservative Republicans, because people are sitting home and they're watching unfold this disaster that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have created, and they want the best for the United States of America. They want us to be that shining beacon, and they know President Trump and his administration are going to deliver that.
Well, they're definitely going to deliver it, and there's the comparison between Trump and Biden is day and night, but also between Trump and Obama. You know, it's like when Donald Trump says there'll be hell to pay, they know it. They know it. They believe him. You know, when Biden says no, don't. You know, and the same with Obama. Remember the red line? Don't cross that red line. Don't cross. They crossed it. You know, Obama, Russia invaded Crimea, took a whole swath of land. Nobody said anything. And, you know, you kind of wonder what is going on. But I think America now has it clear. The Obama, starting with Obama and then ending with Biden and you know, I call her the half-foot Kamala. You know, they had an administration that wasn't focused on the American people. They were focused on left-wing ideology. They were focused on themselves. Exactly. And, you know, I said the other day, the problem with politics today is that people want the position and they want the title, but they don't want the job. They don't want to do the work. If you don't love your job like you did, I know you did when you were a detective, like I did when I was a DA, if you don't wake up every day and say, I can't wait to get to work, then you're in the wrong job, okay?
Absolutely.
You don't believe in it. And that's why Donald Trump is going to be believed. That's why we've got people in the Senate hearings right now who are believers. They love what they do. They want to get the job done. And I am so
many
excited.
Democrats across the country that, you know, they don't realize that public service, me and you, when we think about public service, it's about us serving the public. Democrats and Joe Biden, they have taken it that the American people and the public should be serving them.
Or at least positioning them for the next level, like Karen Bass. Oh, I'll never leave Los Angeles. 4 times she left. And she had the warning. I'm not even going to get into the fires today.
They wish she would leave Los Angeles.
Well, what about Gavin? I mean, poor Gavin. I mean, talk about an empty suit, Congressman. Is this guy an empty suit or what?
I have zero sympathy for Gavin Newsom. I think we spoke a couple of weeks ago. I mean, not only the argument right now that this was all came through climate change and global warming. This came from failed leadership. It came from cutting the budgets by close to $20 million to the fire service in Los Angeles. It came to not fighting crime, where firefighters and first responders were going to areas that they had pre-planned for these fires to hit hydrants to put water on fires, but yet the hydrants weren't there. Why? Because they were taken by criminals and sold for money. That's what's happening in places like Los Angeles. And, Gavin Newsom, his only narrative that he has right now is he wants to blame Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is not the reason as to why we've seen the devastation in L.A. The reason is because just like progressives and Democrats have chosen to defund the police, they've defunded first responders and emergency response, just like firefighters. I mean, $20 million. I mean, you look earlier, just in January, there was a memo sent out by the LA Fire, basically saying that they weren't going to be operating. They weren't going to be able to operate to their full potential, that there was a potential of closing 7 to 8 firehouses because of the budget cuts. That's the issues. It's failure to plan. In emergency response and emergency preparedness, you always say to yourself, are we better off today than we were the last time we saw something similar? And the answer in LA is they are far worse. They're far worse because their leaders suck.
Well, their leaders not only suck, but, I just heard yesterday, and, we all know that reservoir was empty, apparently the one that serves the Palisades for repairs. And I said, I want to see the contract. I want to know why time wasn't of the essence, why, this thing wasn't, everybody wasn't notified for an alternate source of water. And Anthony, Congressman Desposito, the truth is that they could have had alternate sources of water. The fire department said they had no idea the reservoir was empty. Now, does that mean they should have known they were inept and not knowing? Who knows? But all I can tell you, Congressman Anthony Desposito, is tomorrow's another day. The sun will come out tomorrow. Whatever song you want to sing, I'm singing it for a new dawn in America. And I want to thank you for joining us, Congressman. And I guess I'll see you in D.C.
Yes, I'll see you tomorrow, and dress warm. It's cold.
Congressman Anthony Desposito, thank you so much.
It's the Judge Jeanine Show.